teacher.
It's an ordinary school day for 9-year-old Jillian Kennard and her sisters in Johnson City, Tennessee. The Pledge of Allegiance, band practice, a math class. But life for the Kennard sisters is anything but ordinary.
All right, guys, it's time to get up.
Every Sunday, their parents, Patrick and Cindy, wake them before the sun rises. They fold cots.
We still have some more packing to do.
And pack up their lives. Jillian makes sure the birdhouse she built out of popsicle sticks, glitter, and glue isn't left behind. And as evening approaches...
Yeah, we're in the right spot.
For the 11th time in 4 months, they make their way to a Sunday school classroom. In another church. For another week. It might not seem like much, but for the next 7 days, this is where they'll sleep. For the first time in their lives, the Kennard family is homeless.
All right, little bird.
It's all right.
They are the new face of American homelessness. In the wake of the recession, experts say the U.S. stands at a historic juncture.
Morning!
The latest government data show the number of people in homeless families living in suburban and rural America rose nearly 60% during the depths of the Great Recession, an unprecedented surge. More than 1 million school children are now homeless, the most ever recorded. Children like the Kennard sisters, living a life of uncertainty and sometimes shame.
So the hardest part, people finding out. Sometimes when we're on our way to school, we have to ride over in like a church van, and people can probably see that.
What made you not want to tell everybody else?
I didn't want everybody to laugh at me.
No one knew. You went to school every day. You played with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went home, what were you thinking?
I felt happy for them because they had a house and I didn't.
But she does have her precious birdhouse.
Why do you love it so much?
Because it reminds me of the old house.
The Kennards were typical of many families across the country, working-class people pursuing the American dream. They worked hard and built savings accounts. Both have college degrees. But perhaps the most surprising thing about the Kennards is that even now they are a working family. For the last 7 years, Patrick has worked a full-time job at a bank call center with benefits. And until recently, Cindy worked full-time as a director at a daycare center. Despite the recession, they were getting by.
We're not big spenders. We never have been. We just need the necessities of life.
But then came the unexpected. Patrick developed serious kidney problems. Even with health insurance, medical bills went into the thousands. Their car broke down repeatedly. Then Cindy quit her job because she couldn't afford childcare for her own kids.
It was just like a dominoes for you.
Right.
When we fell hard. And we fell fast.
They downsized from a spacious apartment to a smaller apartment here, but then couldn't afford the rent and were evicted.
Describe the moment.
I wanted to dig a hole and let somebody cover me up.
Jillian took the eviction notice especially hard.
I was scared because I loved the house and I didn't want to leave it.
They didn't have relatives to stay with in the area, and they wanted to keep their family together.
We considered going to a campground.
Yeah.
But even camping supplies cost too much.
Then we decided that we would just live out of the van. Then it got repossessed. We didn't know where to go to then.
We're living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. There was nothing for savings. There was nothing for food. There was nothing for nothing.
And they were forced to make heartbreaking decisions.
One of the hardest things I ever had to do was to sell my wedding band. That ring on my finger meant the world to me.
Do you still have yours?
No. We needed food, and gas. So we pawned them.
They got $100 for both rings. Soon the reality of failing to provide for his children sent Patrick into despair.
They didn't do anything to deserve this. They didn't do anything. They're totally innocent.
It's almost too much to bear.
It was.
Then they finally caught a break, getting shelter in those Sunday school classrooms, a program run by the Interfaith Hospitality Network. The Kennards' struggle to keep their family together is a fight Darlene Gaines knows well. It wasn't medical bills that triggered her family's downward spiral. She attributes it, in part, to divorce, another major cause of homelessness.
When I saw homelessness, I saw a bomb. Now when I see homelessness, I see my reflection.
Darlene also thought she had done everything right, even taking classes for her master's degree. And she's held a good job with the Veterans Administration for the last 15 years. She had savings, college and retirement accounts, and a comfortable suburban home for her 3 sons.
They had never worried about anything. They never had to go into the kitchen and look into empty cupboards. I lived a middle-class life all my life. That's all I knew. I dropped from middle class to no class.
As she struggled to cover her bills by herself, including her student loan, Darlene couldn't keep up with rising food and gas prices.
I just knew that I was drowning, and I was doing everything possible to prevent from drowning. My greatest fear for my children was to take them out of an environment that they knew all their life.
You tried to prolong the life they knew, as expensive as it was becoming, because you didn't want to hurt them.
You hit the nail on the head.
After using her savings, she couldn't pay her mortgage, and a foreclosure letter soon arrived.
I opened up the letter and I began to read it. And the whole while, I'm in total disbelief.
With her 3 sons, 15, 16, and 17, Darlene faced the prospect of breaking apart her family because most shelters separate men and women for security reasons. And advocates say there are not enough shelters for the new wave of homeless families.
We had families that were coming in.
Sean Donovan is Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, which funds homeless programs across the country.
What do you say to the families who are living out of their cars, who are living in laundromats, who essentially refuse to let their families be split apart by going into a shelter?
What I would tell them is nobody should have to live like that, and it's wrong.
He acknowledged to us that shelters, which for years served mainly single adults, must now use their funding differently to accommodate the rise in homeless families.
And if they say that the funding, and a large amount of funding comes from HUD, that the funding is not there to support families, what do you say?
I absolutely believe, and the president has fought for, greater investment in homelessness.
Is there enough money being allocated for homeless families?
No, I'm not satisfied that we have the full amount of resources that we need, and we will continue to fight for more.
HUD did spend $1.5 billion in stimulus money on homeless prevention. Now Secretary Donovan says he has an ambitious new plan to reach families before they become homeless, like the Kennard family and Darlene's family.
And like on this side here, you see this bed, yours truly.
Is yours?
Yes.
After months of sleeping on her parents' floor, Darlene got lucky.
So this is our little space.
She found a rare, family-friendly shelter for the working homeless called Our House, where her boys could stay with her.
If they had made them stay on the other side with the men, you wouldn't have stayed here?
No, I would have tried, something else. I didn't want us divided because emotionally, you have those moments where no one can fix it but Mom.
The shelter is also helping Darlene get back her financial footing, while her boys learn that no matter what their circumstances, they can never give up.
I'm constantly talking about grades. This is not the end for you. We're just passing through. So let us stay focused.
The Kennard sisters are also learning a lesson from homelessness, to overcome their shame. And for the first time, they are speaking about it publicly.
It's going to reach people, even people I don't know, who may have been in this situation or going into it, and maybe I'll be humiliated just a few times in school, but I'll get over that soon because we're not going to be in here that much very longer.
Not there for much longer because the Kennard family just got an unexpected slice of good fortune. The shelter has given them a grant to help with rent for up to 5 years. They expect to move into a 4-bedroom apartment in this building by Christmas. For Jillian, that will mean no more early mornings in dark parking lots. And maybe, at last, she'll be able to put down her birdhouse.